what's up? Austin, thanks for coming in. What's up, Real of Live 423? How's it going? Pretty good. How are you? Just started fishing. I'm gonna try a little goby bait today, but looks like trying to imitate a tadpole. We had a cold front and a lot of rain yesterday, so I'm gonna throw a little finesse bait out there. Good to hear. Glad you're doing well. I'll be doing a lot better when I start catching fish. Can you target? Not here, I can't. The closest thing I can catch around here is muskie. They're about an hour, 2 hours away that have muskie in them. So, and there's some bowfin, certain places around here, and gar, but no pike. Never had a chance to catch a pike. I caught chain pickerel in Florida, but never caught a pike. So, maybe one day though. Yep. There's carp all over the place, but I don't usually target those. Don't usually target carp. I've caught some big carp by accident, but I don't ever target them. So. Big common carp around here. A little bit of a cold front came through this weekend. It rained a lot yesterday. Otherwise I would have been on here. Hopefully after today it'll get warm and stay warm. But hopefully not too warm, too fast. Yeah, there's multiple species of catfish around here. There are a couple lakes that have sauger in them, and walleye. The river also carries those fish too. So. Probably the only thing that we don't have around here that you can find up north is northern pike and lake trout. Everything else you can catch around here. So. And this lake itself has a lot of different species in it. Not a lot of the species, but hey, what's up, Sam? How are you? Yep, I use a bait caster and a spinning. I actually got my bait caster with me. So this is the bait caster I like to use. This is a Carbon Light Bass Pro Shop reel. I usually use a 8.3 to 1 gear ratio on my bait caster. So I'm a lot more accurate with my bait caster, and I can, obviously I can cast heavier lures up with it, but I pretty much just use my spinning rod for using light lures. So otherwise I got a bait caster in my hand if I'm not throwing something light. So that's what I'm throwing today, like a real finesse type bait. I also brought my big swim bait with me too, so where's that at? Probably gonna throw some, I'm potentially throw this on my bait caster later. It's a Berkeley coal shad. It does well out here on these bigger bass. Even the small bass will latch onto it a lot of the time. So That's a good 1-2 punch. I think a lot of the bass are already spawned. This ain't a very big lake, so the water warms up a lot quicker than the bigger lakes around here. So there's the only nearby lake I've been fishing the last couple of weeks that, man, I touched the water last week and it was crazy warm, so I'm sure that those bass have already spawned out. Most of them anyway. Here the water's still a little cooler, so I think some of the bass are spawning and some are already off the bed. So it's just a mixed bag out here, I think, so we'll see. We're gonna use this little bait first, and then we'll maybe tie on my swim bait. You can't pick up a couple ones feeding. Looking to feed back up maybe some of the big ones. A couple of the post spawners that come off the bed. Some that have already recouped after the spawn. They're ready to feed back up again. Hey, what's up? Tiger, thanks for coming in. What's up, good girl? Thanks for coming in. What's up, Willie? Oh, I'm from the United States. From America. Let's go ahead and spin around here. I mean, it looks like there may be some rainy clouds out here, but I think it's just supposed to be cloudy today. Yesterday, it rained its tail off yesterday. It pretty much rained all day yesterday, like non-stop. So, I mean, I looked at the radar yesterday to see if the rain was going to stop, like it had been, you know, all of last week. But the radar showed the storm or the rain just kind of circling the area like it wasn't going to blow out. So it rained for a long time yesterday, so that might be what South Carolina's getting today. They may be getting that, you know, all that rain we had here yesterday. But so it's not supposed to rain today, but it rained, like I said, it rained a lot yesterday, to the point where I couldn't get out on the water like I wanted to. So yeah, all last week is kind of weird. It seemed like every single day, or like, you know, for 3 or 4 days straight, it would rain in the afternoon and then the sun would come out later on. You know, like it would rain early afternoon, all the storms would move out and the sun would pop out for the rest of the day. Try to get right next to these lily pads. All we're doing, we're just working right off the edge of the pads here. Not yet. I just started. However many minutes ago it's been now. Let me check. Oh, yep, I started like 10 minutes ago, so nothing yet, which is probably a good thing. It's call it superstition, if you will, but you know, if you catch anything right off the bat, it's usually bad luck, right? Especially on the first cast. like I said, it wasn't very warm yesterday. You know, I think the high only got up to like 50 something degrees yesterday, so it was a cold front. So, and even today it's only supposed to be like in the low 60s, which isn't too bad. It'd be a lot nicer if the sun would come out. But yes, sir. How's your day going? You ever use pedals on my kayak? I guess you're talking about my kayak, huh? I'm not sure what you're, Mr. Muskie. Oh, this kayak doesn't have pedals. I mean, there's a model, you know, that comes with a pedal drive. You know, where you gotta put your feet on it and pedal around. This one I have came with a motor. So that motor, if you can see it, it sits right here. It drops down between my feet, and yeah, it's not fixed in here. So if I wanted to take it out, I could. And there's a piece that drops in the, you know, the void right there, and you can just, you know, cover the hole up and just paddle around if you wanted to. But yeah, this one comes with the motor. This comes in handy when I'm trying to fight the wind. Just got back from trying a couple of ponds, caught 2. I think the rain isn't acting funky. Your roller motor works great. Also, oh yeah, it's definitely good. Definitely was a good investment. It took me a while to get myself to buy one, but it was definitely a good investment. I fish just about every single day now, so if I can get out, you know, as long as it's not heavy rain or lightning especially, or like tornadic, you know, kind of crap going on, I can get out and fish in it. So yeah, I think the rain, you know, especially with like the fluctuation in the water level, may have got them messed up too. And I don't know if the pressure's on the rise or what, but you know, usually it's good right before it rains, right as it starts to rain. It's good fishing, but yeah, you can always find a reason to, you know, account for bad fishing. Or I try to stay positive as much as I can, you know, and let the fish tell me. Sometimes you just gotta figure out what they want, you know, and how they want it. But sometimes easier said than done, right? It's like yesterday, or 2 days ago, I was out here throwing a wacky rig, and I caught like 8 or 9 on the wacky rig, and then I lost all my worms. Put on a different bait I should have caught them on, and I didn't catch anything else the rest of the day. So had to resort to the Ned rig for a bite. Yeah, that's pretty much what this is. I have on today. I just don't have a worm on. I got a goby, which, I mean, if there was frogs out here, you know, making little tadpoles, this would just by mimics a tadpole, a bullfrog tadpole, more than a goby around here. So, or whatever the bass may think it is. So. Or maybe they may think it's like a little bluegill or something, especially around the beds, you know. So last week I pushed myself into the pads and fished some open spots behind the pads. I caught a few bass that way, but we may do that today, we may not, I don't know yet. But for right now, I'm just gonna fish the outer edge of the lily pads, and then maybe going deeper later on. Try and find some open spots to fish. This bait's got a real subtle tail action on it. So, let's see. Hey, what's up, Parker? How's it going? Thanks for coming back in. It's good to see you back. Going good for now. How about you? Oh, not too bad. Not too bad. Can't complain. Out in the water fishing, so it can't be that bad, right? Oh, no, not yet. Not yet. It might be tough fishing today. You know, it rained a lot yesterday. It's pretty much a cold front essentially came in this weekend, so cold front, you know, you add in the time of year with the spawn, or even post spawn, so it might be tough fishing today. But I think we'll be able to pick up a couple bass. Something will end up wanting this bait. Got a little, essentially just a little Ned rig on here, a little a goby type of bait, but if anything, it's mimicking a bullfrog tadpole. We'll swim and hop this bait around these lily pads and see if the bass will let me know if it wants it or not, or if they want it. Solid on here. Vegetation. Kind of pitch it up into the right inside the lily pads. See if anything is hunkered down here on the edge, waiting for something to come by. So there's some areas behind the lily pads that, you know, bass. Oh, there goes a big old gar right there. Look at this big old gar. See if I can't catch it. Oh, there's that one gar in here. There it goes. Huh. That was cool. Yeah, as far as I know, there's only one gar in here, and then you just swam by. And then there's at least one bowfin in here. I guess that goes by a few different names, bowfin and or dogfish, I think people call that too, but there's some cool species out here. They got warmouth out here too. Again, I don't know, there's only one warmouth out here, but I caught one of those a couple weeks ago. It's pretty cool. Caught a big old bluegill, my Senko worm a couple days ago. That was cool. Hey, how's it going? Oh, I'm not sure what you're saying, but thanks for coming in. You have to try to speak English for me, please. Excuse me. Yep, more than likely I'll catch something out here using a bait this size. But we're trying for bass. Ain't no real reason why we can't catch something today, so. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for tuning in. Oh. Good afternoon to you too. How's your day going? Hey, how's your day going? Thanks for coming in. I guess we can go ahead and let's just fish around the edge first, then we'll come back and fish farther into these pads. Let's go over there. Oh, no success yet, but we're trying. I'm not sure if you're saying something about Brazil. But again, thanks for coming in. Hey, what's up, Predator Fishing? Thanks for coming in. How's your day going? Spot looks good. Oh yeah. This whole lake's a pretty good spot. So later on we'll go in here and work in the back. If we're still out here fishing. right there. Huh. I don't know where that was. It felt like a fish. Maybe it was a bluegill. Hey, what's up, Chaos? Thanks for coming in. How's your day going? Fish on. Fish on. Oh, that's a crappie. It's a big old crappie. Let's go. Or a nice crappie. I don't know if it's big or not, but came loose. That's why I call him paper mouse. Nice crappie. There, buddy. Oh, wasn't a bass, but we'll take it. Like what that first fish was a crappie. Thank you. Fish on. Yes, sir. I think it was a beaver behind me. That sounds out here. There was a couple beavers coming towards my kayak, and then they saw me. And then they slapped her. Oh man, that was a nice fish. What was that? Oh, another crappie. Oh, I got a big old bump right there. I bumped into a lily pad stand. Yeah, a couple nice beavers out here. Some big old beavers. Fish on. There's another crappie. Oh yeah, a crappie are biting today for some reason. I've never caught more than one crappie out here. Let's go, another crappie. Another crappie. Or as they call them in Florida, a speck. Like I said, it's not a bass, but we'll take it. All day, every day. Young crappie. Look at that big old pappy crappie. Big old grandpappy crappie. Big old 2-pounder. I bet there's one in here somewhere. Big old mega slab. Sounds like the 4th or 5th bite I had today, so I bet the rest of them were crappie. They call them crappie specks in Florida, but they're also called paper mouths. Their mouths are so thin that it's hard to keep a hook inside of them. I guess it's easier to penetrate their mouth though, I guess, with your hook. That's the case. Nice one, thanks. Going well, finally a nice day out here. Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. We wait for enormous bass like always. We may catch one. You never know out here. So. If I catch another crappie, it's probably what's going to be biting today. I guess they already have a bit, but these little goby type baits have a little bit of tails on them that just kind of subtly, you know, move in the water. So like I said, if anything, this thing is going to emulate a tadpole, or even a tiny little bluegill. We'll see. I always say I've caught big bass on small baits, and I've caught small bass on big baits, so anything's liable to happen anytime. Fish on, fish on. That's another crappie. Another crappie. Might be pappy crappie. Let's go. Oh, there you have it. I guess the crappie are on the edge of the lily pads. Another crappie. Hey, what's up, Jason? Thanks for coming in. Thanks, Parker. Let's go. I'll show you. This is a Z-Man Ned goby. It's a little bitty goby type bait. So there's no gobies around here like there is up north, but it's like a bluegill pretty much, or not bluegill. I'm sorry, a tadpole. So that's. I guess it also could, you know, look like a bluegill or something, but I think it looks closest to a tadpole. But that's just me. Put a little extra sun on there. See, that was right inside the pads. Oh, darn it. Caught my other rod. Okay, that's good. Gotta pay attention to what I'm doing. Let's go ahead and put my rod in the other holder again, so I won't do that again. Thanks. I usually put the rod, I don't use it on the side, I don't throw. Yeah, me too. Oh, another one, hang on. Oh, this is a giant crappie, folks. Let's go. This is a big one. As long as it don't get off. This is a slab. This is a slabber wabber. Come here, let me get my thumb in it. Let's go. This is a nice one. I think, I guess we're crappie fishing today, folks. I guess we are crappie fishing. This is like the 4th one. Let's go, this is a nice one. Beautiful one. Okay. That would have made a good sandwich. That would make a good sandwich. Hey, what's up, Edward? It helps a lot. Yes, it is. Yeah, I usually put my rod and my kayak on the opposite side. Like if the bank's on the left side, it goes on the right side. Because a lot of times I fish near the bank, and if there's a lot of overhanging trees, so I try to keep my rod, like you said, on the opposite side of how I cast, but also so I don't get it caught up in the tree if I get too close to the bank. So they're definitely biting, because those other ones I caught while moving the bait. That one I let drop down into the pads. I thought it was a bass because it dropped down and he hammered it, so I thought it was a bass. I'll randomly catch one crappie, while bass. I think it's gonna be the opposite today. I think I'm gonna end up catching a bass randomly while crappie fishing. I wouldn't be surprised if I caught a warmouth or a sunfish or a bluegill on this bait today. I don't know about sunfish. I know there's warmouth and bluegill in here, but man, that was awesome. Let's just put it right here and see what happens. I think they're stacked up in the pads. Also, over here is just, it's like a little point to the pads before it goes straight down, back down to the back of the water. I told you, I found the crappie hole. Yes, sir. I wish I could be in my town. I love bass fishing. I hear South Africa has really good bass fishing, like Japan. You should try to use a rod with lure and one rod with a sinker and bait. Oh, yeah. A lot of times I'll have two baits tied on. One that I work horizontally, like a swim bait, like through the water column, and then I'll use another bait like a jig that I work, vertically up off the bottom. That way I can cover all parts of the water and give them a look at two of their main forages, crawdad and the shad. So, and then you can do two different sizes too. Like I got a little bait on here, and if I use my bait caster today, I'll be throwing a big swim bait. So. It makes me want to go grab my ultralight rod out of my vehicle to have a little bit more fun catching these crappie. But that was like 4 or 5 crappie now. So I had a couple other bites, that probably were crappie too, that they just couldn't keep it in their mouth or something happened. I guess what we'll do, we'll work our way through these lily pads, or like in the middle of them, on the edge here, so we can cast without moving. Try to twitch your rod. That's what I'm doing, bud. I'm trying everything I can think of. But it looks like they're biting no matter what I do, because I caught that last one as it was falling, and the other ones I was catching, moving it, twitching it, popping it, whatever. So pretty much either a slow retrieve with a little tail move, or letting it fall, kind of imparting a little bit of action. Let's cast out farther and see what happens. Oh, looks like some people are getting the boat out in the water right now. Interesting. probably saw me catch a fish. Oh, let's go out there. I guess it's possible they saw me catch a fish, I don't know. I've come out, of course it's Sunday too, so people are looking for something to do. Gotta try to keep this bait moving through the pad so I don't get snagged. Hey, what's up, Antonio? Thanks for coming in. Not me with a fake frog or a real frog. I do have a frog in my box, but it's definitely not the right time to be throwing it. Oh, yeah, it's not the right time to be throwing. The water's pretty cool, and we had a cold front come in, so I don't think right now would be a good time. But I'll be definitely throwing it on in summer, or later on this month probably, whenever it heats back up again, and then get on that summer pattern. Forward here. Get on these pads. Got grass in my crop, I think. Well, that might have been a fish. Let's go ahead and go back over there. I think it might have been a fish. Not that it'll come back, but I'll try. So next time I might have to bring out my little ultralight rod and my crappie jig and give that a whirl. Now that I know they're all over these pads. Maybe tomorrow I can do that. I think he got snagged up and came off. He got me up in the pads. He pulled me off. Look, crappie. When he swam away. Awesome. got these lily pads, coupled with the fact that they got paper mouths or thin mouths, it's hard to keep them hooked. But let's go ahead and flip it. A couple spots up here in these pads. It's definitely one of those baits you can catch all kinds of species on. How are you, friend? Well, I was targeting largemouth bass, but now I'm targeting crappie. So, I mean, I got a bait on that, like, clearly is catching crappie, but I've also caught bass on it, and I wouldn't be surprised if a nice bluegill grabbed a hold of it, or a warmouth. Try to bring this bait closer to these lily pads. Let's go and move down a little farther. I was trying to realize the crappie were biting before I got down this far. America, United States. Fish on. Nice to meet you too. Another crappie. Another crappie. They're just choking down that bait. Hammering that little bluegill imitation. Beautiful crappie. Hey there, buddy. Thanks for biting. Yellow crappie. Yellow crappie. What's up, ASI? Here you are, Captain. I just got back from praising the Lord. Yes, sir. What did I miss? Out here trying to catch bass, but we're catching crappie. I caught about 5 or 6 crappie, which I'm not mad about. Let's go. So I think we're biting it on the fall. Also feel like they're biting it while it's moving as well, so it may not be any way better than the other. I don't have 2-pound line. The lightest line I have is at home, and it's 6 pound. But I do have an ultralight rod in my truck. Another one. Let's go. Let's go. And they're slapping this goby bait. This bluegill or tadpole imitation. Let's go. Skids up and may end up catching 20 fish today. I think it's starting to sprinkle. The rain's coming through. That's why I got my rain jacket, so just in case there was a pop-up shower day. The fish that was probably the same family as. Actually, bass and bluegill are in the same type of family. Bass and bluegill. No, not bass. It's gonna rain harder. Fish on. Fish on. Another crappie. Alright, I think I figured out what they want now, or how they want the bait. I'll choke this one. Good night. I'll get my pliers off of this. Oh, yeah, it's just right there. Okay. Get my pliers out real quick. Oh, never mind. It already came out. So. Here's a fish. Okay. So they want it to fall a little bit, so we'll go ahead and reel it and let it drop. See if we get the tickets. Reel let it fall just for a couple seconds here and reeling it back in. Waiting to see if the sun don't come out after this little rain shower. Don't get snagged up. There we go. What's the red ear size in comparison to crappie? What's a red ear? I don't know. Probably the size of your hand, I'd imagine. I'm not sure what you're asking. I caught a big old bluegill the other day. Went from the tip of my finger all the way up to past my wrist. I caught one on my sinker worm about that size. That was a nice bluegill. It made a heck of a sandwich. Not that I keep my fish, but especially out here. But let's try farther out. Pretty much just a steady retrieve and then let it drop. It's got a little bitty tail in the back there. It's like subtly moving, and as you let it drop. Hey, what's up, Melissa? Thanks for coming in. Watch these colors right here. Okay. Doesn't like it raining and the sun coming out. The other day I was driving home from fishing and I was going down the road and it was completely dry and I ran right into the rain wall. The wall of rain. That was pretty cool. Casting with soft baits is very fun. Oh yeah. It's fun when you have a... I was throwing a weightless Senko on a wacky rig, and that was fun to skip those baits on a spinning rod. A little bit of grass. Got my bait. Probably not advised to do that. Makes me wonder if I had a little bitty smaller bait on, how many crappie I'd be catching right now. Put this on to catch some cold front bass. Catching crappie instead. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I caught a bass, but I might be surprised I'm catching crappie on it. I'm just surprised I'm catching as many crappie as I am. We're getting near, what, 10 crappie or something right now. Maybe 7 or 8 crappie. Do you use baitcaster? Have you caught anything? Yep, we've caught. You probably heard me just say I caught about 7 or 8 crappie so far. Yeah, here's my baitcaster. I like throwing a baitcaster most of the time. But sometimes I enjoy throwing a spinning rod. If I'm throwing some kind of finesse type of bait. Pretty much anything like 1/8 of an ounce, 1/16 of an ounce, I'm throwing a spinning rod. Anything over 3/16, I'm throwing a baitcaster. 3/16 is that weird weight for me that, like, I feel like it's too heavy for my spinning rod, and I feel like it's too light for my baitcaster, so I try not to throw anything 3/16. Even though that's the weights that I have in my box, of course. But we have a huge windstorm, good to reasonable reels, and oh yeah. Emphasize the soft bait hook. What's the number? So this, I'm not sure what number this is. This is just a little bitty, I think it's a 1/10 of an ounce jig head on this bait, but it varies. You know, I'm throwing a drop shot, I'm throwing a size 1 or 2 hook. If I'm throwing a big bait, I'm throwing a 4/0 extra wide gap. And then if I'm throwing a smaller bait, I'll probably throw like a 2/0 extra wide gap hook. Most of my hooks are going to be extra wide gap. So I'm not sure what the size hook is on this jig head, but it's 1/10 of an ounce. So it's not that heavy at all. We'll sit back here for, I mean, I could probably just stand up and probably just flip this little bait back into the pads. There's grass on here. bait through all these pads here. Pretty much the end of the pads. But we'll sit here and cast that over all this open water. So I got my line wrapped. We're gonna first cast out a little bit farther and run it back in. See if we can't catch them. Probably farther out, maybe suspending. Down the area we were already just down, see if there's anything sitting. I guess tomorrow I may bring my ultralight out here. Maybe bring on. What's funny is I actually had a couple crappie jigs in my motor box I found on a tree fishing one day, but I took them out. Just my luck, huh? Took out those 2 crappie jigs I had in here. Not that I would have put them on though. I mean, I'm still trying to catch a nice sized bass, but if I use soft bait number 7 or 6 target group, okay. Ooh, a barracuda. They got some really teeth in their mouth, huh? So you're more of a saltwater fisherman then? I haven't caught too many fish in the saltwater. Caught snapper and snook and tarpon. I'd like to catch a redfish sometime soon. I guess they're also called a red drum. I got some black drum, or just drum I guess, a couple of weeks ago. This out there. It was crazy. It wouldn't surprise me if like a 5-pounder inhaled this bait. Like I keep saying, I've caught big bass, or I caught big fish on small baits, and I've caught small fish on big baits. So, I think the important thing is just to match the hatch, size and color and shape. Actually, I do have another bait in here in this box that would probably work just as well, if not better. I'm almost tempted to, put it on. I got a little bitty thin minnow in this box. I honestly would probably tear them up. Probably catch a bunch on it. But they're hitting this, so let's keep throwing this. I think I have one, maybe not. Get it out of these pads. Come on now. doorknob. Farthest I can cast. Get off the edge here. So this is also the wind-blown bank, which is always a good thing to fish. Good afternoon. How's your day going? Fish on. Fish on. Find the crappie. Crappie. Oh, yep, sure enough. I mean, it hit the fire out of this. This was a little more pale. On the outside of the mouth. I think it's like number 8, probably. There, buddy. Let's go. Sarasota, Florida. Where's it? Oh, that's nice. Nice, bro. Thanks, fantastic. You fished in the sea? I fished in the sea a few times. Like I said, well, mainly brackish water or inshore. So, I mean, I like freshwater fishing, but brackish water is probably is nice water because I can catch just about any species in brackish water. I can catch, you know, I catch bluegill, bass, all the way up to, you know, tarpon and snook in brackish water. That's fun. Oh, is this another fish or grass? I think it's grass. Yeah, grass. I'll show you guys another bait that I have that I may throw on just to see if I get better results, but let me show you guys. This bait's pretty bulky. So this would be the other bait. Now I know the crappie are biting. Is this little guy right here? Put that on there, probably catch a couple nice crappie. Hey, what's up, Zero? 3 bull sharks, nice. Yee yee. Catching crappie today. Was trying for bass, but then the crappie is starting. This is hammering the fire out of this bait. So crappie fishing now. But we can catch them anytime. Anywhere from like half a pound up to probably 5, I bet, on this bait. Wouldn't surprise me. Another blessed day, brother. You got that right. Definitely consider myself blessed to be on the water as often as I am. Tell you what, let's go ahead and let's keep this bait on. Keep thinking about putting another bait on. I just showed you guys, but not sure where I can put it. Where did I put that bait at? Oh, there it is. I'll check back in a few. All right, man. You got some action crappie or no crappie? It's definitely not crappie. No, definitely not crappie action, but crappie action, right? That's funny. Thanks for coming in. Hope to see you here in a few minutes or however long you're going to be going for. I should be on here, you know, for a few more hours today, so we'll see. That's my plan anyway. Stay on here till the evening. Now, there's no sun out here today, so it's not going to stay as light as I'd like it to for long. But, get away from these pads. I think I got this bait rigged so perfectly I don't want to unrig it. Tie on another thread on another bait. I also don't want to be missing out on better catching action by not switching baits. Let's put myself in a little bit better position here. Now we're in a little bit better positioning. Of course, also with the wind blowing bank, you're gonna have a lot more, vegetation back here. Everything's being pushed back to this back wall here. What's that? Yeah, what's up? That was some grass. All right, I'm gonna put the other bait on real quick. Just to see if we get any more bites. It's a little bit longer, but it's a thinner bait, so crappie may want to bite this a little bit more. They think it's an easier meal, This doesn't really have any like paddle tail action to it, so I'm not going to swim it, or I'm not going to reel it in, as much as the other one. Just let it fall in. How do you teach beginners to fish from the shore? I mean, how do you teach beginners to fish from the shore? So if you're gonna throw a bait caster, or really, I guess a spinning rod too. For me, if I had one rod to use, I'd have either a 6.5 foot medium spinning rod, or I'd have a 7 foot medium heavy bait cast rod. You can pretty much throw everything on one of those rods, and just a simple Texas rigged bait, or like a square bill crankbait, or a spinner bait, or chatterbait, something that doesn't take much effort to use. Just also learn the Palomar knot. That'll get you, that'll get you a lot of places. nephew, they got a couple spinning rods, I got them using, some Ned rigs and some Texas rig baits. But there is a little bit of a learning curve with doing a baitcaster, but it's not that bad once you get everything, especially your spool tension. Once you get that dialed in, you're pretty much good to go. But like anything, it takes practice, trial and error. But I'm definitely open to any questions from beginners or anybody, so just ask away and I'll answer your questions to the best of my knowledge and as thorough as I can answer it. If I don't know the answer, I'll go track it down for you and I'll let you know what it is in the next live or what I think about it. So, but I encourage questions for sure. Some guy yesterday at the end of my live was asking me about what rod to use, and I happily let them know my opinion. So, but I don't claim to know everything, but I know quite a bit, and I'm always open to learning more. Where are you going to get a fish in the boat? When? I think you came in at the wrong time because I just caught a crappie before you hopped on here, I think. So. They may be up on the pads. I may be wasting my time fishing back here. Have you not seen me catch one yet, Zero? I thought you were on here with that last crappie I caught. I see. Thank you for sharing about fishing for friends who wants to fish. You're welcome. Thanks for your question. I guess let's go ahead and start going up the other bank, I guess. See, you can't catch any more. I'm gonna get my rod stuck in this tree. You can get anything on them jigs. Oh yeah, like I was saying, man. Actually, I saw a gar earlier out here, swimming right below the surface. But I think it's the only gar out here. But oh yeah, I mean, like I fully expect to catch a bass, and I expect to. And everybody's out here fishing. Guess I'll just sit back here till he's done fishing. And then we're gonna probably go up the water a little ways with the fish. Allow the wind to push us back down to a slow rate of speed. Plug in my battery pack real quick. It's not working, so I can turn this around. There it goes. All right. Took me a second. Now we're cooking with grease. The camera sit right. All right, let's go. Start catching fish. So there's some more pads coming up here in a minute. What the heck is so soft? It's like a Christmas tree right there. It might have been that one I saw earlier this year, and maybe I found a resting place back here, I guess. Hey, thanks for coming in. How's your day going? Come on, man. See what those guys are doing. I may go back into the other area and try to fish back there. This is nice to fish around here. What's up, redneck boys? How many fish? I don't think it's supposed to rain. It rained a little bit earlier, but I don't think it's supposed to rain anymore. It's always that potential for a pop-up shower. But I've caught about, I don't know, about 8 crappie or something. So we started bass fishing and I'm catching crappie. So we still may catch a bass or two, but we're definitely catching crappie. So thanks for coming in. Definitely catching some crappie. Oh, there's a bunch of shad right here. Wish I would have kept the other bait on. Look at the little school of shad right here, or minnows or something. Breaking the surface. Nice, thank you. Camera keeps falling down. Okay. All the crappie have been on that side of the water, across from here. That's when I was catching them all. So we'll definitely go back over to that side after we fish this side. Of course, there's only 2 sides of the water, so we'll kind of have to go back over there. But let's go. Looks like he's caught a bass down there. Nice. Looks like I caught my tail.
Big one?
No, just some crappie.
I thought you catch a couple small ones.
Oh yeah.